وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Respected brothers and sisters, welcome back to our Ajurrumiyyah classes. I know it's been a while, subhanallah. Yeah, it's been a pretty hectic month, the last month, so Allahul Musta'an. Alhamdulillah, we're back by the permission and by the tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I hope you are all well. And inshallah, we just have a few more lessons to cover. And inshallah, that which should bring us to the end of this tremendous book. Okay, so so this is our weekly class on the explanation of Al-Muqaddimah Al-Ajurrimiyyah, and the commentary that we are going through is called Al-Tuhfah Al-Sanniyyah by Sheikh Muhammad Muhyiddin Abdul Hamid rahimahullah. And we are still talking about the mansubat, and we've taken a few mansubat, and this next mansubat that we are going to look at is al-istithna, which is exception. So let me share the screen with you. Inshallah, you can see this the book. Alhamdulillah, it's good to be back. Okay. So, al-istithna, bismillah. So let's see what the author rahimahullah Ibn Ajurrum says. Babul istithna, the chapter of al-istithna, which is exception. Wa huruful istithna'i thamaniyatun. Yes, the huruf of istithna are 8. Wahiya, what are they? Illa, wa ghayrun, wa siwan, wa suwan, wa sawa'un, wa khala, wa ada, wa hasha. These are the 8 words which we use for istithna. Okay, wa aqulu, and the author, and the sharih rahimahullah says, al-istithna'u ma'nahu fil lugha. As for al-istithna, its meaning in the Arabic language is what? Mutlaqul ikhraj. It basically means to expel something or to remove something or to exclude something. That's what it literally means. That's what al-istithna in the Lugha Arabiya means. So when I say istathnaytu hadha min kadha, it means akhrajtuhu minhu. Istathnaytu hadha min kadha, يعني أخرجته منه. I've taken it out from that. I've excluded it from that. I've removed it from that. وهو في اصطلاح النحاة. As for with the grammarians, عبارة عن, then what is it? It is عبارة عن الإخراج بإلا أو إحدى أخواتها. It is to remove something or exclude something by way of illa or one of the akhawat of illa, which we have seen here. These are the 7 sisters of illa. Okay. So وهو في اصطلاح النحاة عبارة عن الإخراج بإلا أو إحدى أخواتها لشيء. So it is to remove something, exclude something by way of illa, one of the akhawat, لشيء, yani anything. It is to remove something or to remove anything by way of illa, one of the sisters of illa. Now look what it says here. It says لولا ذلك الإخراج لكان داخلا فيما قبل الأداة. لولا ذلك الإخراج. If we didn't exclude this thing, if we didn't remove this thing, لكان داخلا, it would still be within فيما قبل الأداة. It would still be within and amongst that which is mentioned before the adat, which is mentioned before the word which we use for exception, yani illa or the akhawat illa. Yes, this is the full definition of al-istithna. Al-ikhraj bi illa ihda akhawatiha li shay'in. It is to remove or to exclude something by way of illa, one of the akhawat of illa. Lawla dhalika al-ikhraj. If we didn't remove this thing, lakana dakhilan, then this thing would be still part or amongst that which is mentioned before illa or one of the akhawat of illa. For example, let's look at the example to become clearer. وَمِثَالُهُ قَوْلُكَ نَجَحَ التَّلَامِيذُ إِلَّا عَامِرًا. We say نَجَحَ التَّلَامِيذُ إِلَّا عَامِرًا. So look here. So first thing you have to understand simple terminology. Amir. This is al-mustathna. Al-mustathna. Yani mukhraj. Amir is the mustathna, in the exception, mukhraj, that which has been removed and excluded. At-talamidhu, it is the mustathna minhu. Mustathna minhu, yani مخرجا منه. It is the thing from which something is excluded. So Amir is the mustathna, the exception. Mukhraj, that thing which is removed. At-talamidu al-mustathna minhu. It is the thing from which something is excluded or removed. Mukhraj minhu, yani removed from. So Amir, it is removed from at-talamid. Okay, that's the first thing you have to understand. And what did we say? We said that had we not removed Amir, then Amir would still be part of that which is mentioned before illa, which is a talamid. So what does it say? Najahat talamidu illa amiran. All the talamid, all the students passed, except Amir. So if we didn't exclude Amir, then Amir would also be part of the talamid, the students that passed. But unfortunately, he didn't pass. Yeah. So had we not excluded Amir, then Amir would have taken the hukam, the ruling of the students which are mentioned before illa. And what is the hukam of the students before illa? That they passed. Okay, so that's basically the definition of al-istithna. So hopefully that is wadih. Simple, straightforward. Okay, now if you do the i'rab of this, who can quickly do the i'rab of this? Yani it's very, very easy. نجح التلاميذ إلا عامرا. Anybody want to have a go? So najaha is what? فعل ماض. Okay, seems like Ilyas wants to have a go. Naam. Okay, Ilyas, go ahead.
نجح فعل ماض مبني على الفتح لا محل له من الإعراب.
Sorry. Just 1 second. I don't know why this keeps coming up. Sorry about this. Okay, yep. Sorry, go ahead. نجح
فعل ماض مبني على الفتح لا محل له من الإعراب.
Yep, واضح. نجح فعل ماض مبني على الفتح لا محل من الإعراب. التلاميذ.
تلاميذ المستثنى منه مرفوع وعلامة
So here we would just say فاعل.
فاعل مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة على آخره.
Yes, that's the i'rab. Yes, it is al-mustathna minhu. It is. But the i'rab of it is a fa'il. Marfu'. Okay, and then illa.
إلا حرف استثناء مبني على السكون لا محل له من الإعراب.
Yep, good. So illa is harfu istithna'in. It's mabni ala sukun. La mahal min i'rab, of course, is a harf la mahal min i'rab. And amiran.
عامرا
المستثنى. مستثنى. Yep.
منصوب بإلا.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's mansoob. Yeah, mansubun, not because of illa, but because of istithna. But okay, let's keep it simple here. مستثنى منسوب وعلامة.
وعلامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره.
نعم. Good. Okay, simple. So إلا is حرف استثناء مبني على السكون لا محل من الإعراب. عامرا is مستثنى منسوب. وعلامة نصبه الفتحة الظاهرة على آخره. Okay. So that's that. Yes, look here. ومثاله قولك نجح التلاميذ إلا عامرا. فقد أخرجت بقولك إلا عامرا أحد التلاميذ. So when you said إلا عامرا, then you removed or you excluded one of the students وهو عامر, and he is عامر. ولولا ذلك الإخراج, if you didn't remove him, لكان عامرا داخلا في جملة التلاميذ الناجحين, then Amir would still be amongst those students who passed and succeeded. Straightforward. Okay. Then is this part here. وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ أَدَوَاتِ الْإِسْتِثْنَاءِ كَثِيرَةٌ. Know that the adawat, the tools that we use for istithna, the words that we use for istithna are many. وَقَدْ ذَكَرَ مِنْهَا الْمُؤَلِّفُ ثَمَانَ أَدَوَاتٍ. And from these adawat of istithna, the muallif has mentioned 8. وَالَّذِي ذَكَرَهُ مِنْهَا عَلَى ثَلَاثَةِ أَنْوَاءٍ. And the ones that and the 8 that he has mentioned can be divided into 3 types. النوع الأول ما يكون حرفا دائما وهو إلا. The first category, the first type is that which is always a harf, and that is إلا. والنوع الثاني ما يكون اسما دائما. And the second type are what is always an ism, وهو أربعة, and they are 4. وهي سوى بالقصر وكسر السين. سوى or سوى, yeah. Al-Qasr, what does Qasr mean? Qasr means the opposite to Mad. This is Mad, where there's a Hamza after the Alif. Qasr is when there's just Alif, Maksur. Alif al-Maksurah. Alif al-Maksurah. So, وهي, and they are 4. Number 1, سوى بالقصر, يعني it's المكسور, مكسورة, ألف مكسورة, وكسر السين, and it has a كسرة on the scene. وسوى بالقصر والضم السين. وسوى again بالقصر because it's ألف مكسورة, والضم السين, but this time the scene is a dhamma. وسواء بالمد وفتح السين. سواء, it has a mad, not a kasr, mad as you can see. وفتح السين, and the scene has a fatha on it. وغير, وغير. Yeah. The fourth one is غير. والنوع الثالث, and the third and the final type, ما يكون حرفا تارة ويكون فعلا تارة أخرى. That which sometimes it can be act as a harf and sometimes it can act as a فعل. وهي ثلاث أدوات, and they are 3. وهي خلا وعدا وحاشا. They're the 3. Okay, that's straightforward. Any questions on here before we move on? Any questions before we move on? No? Everything is cool. Okay, Bismillah. So that's like an introduction. Now we're going to get into the juicy part. Okay, so No. So now we are going to start with the first type. Remember the first type, what did we say? With illa. The illa is the main one, yeah. Illa is the asal, and the others are akhawat. So there's a lot of kalam here, but it's straightforward, simple. Yeah. So please focus because this is important. And it comes up a lot in Arabic language and you get stuck. You know, when you're reading a book or you're speaking to someone and illa comes up, you don't know after illa shall I make the word marfu, or the word after illa shall I make it mansoob, or the word after illa shall I make it majroor. So now we're going to see what is the i'rab of the word, the mustathna that comes after illa. Is it raf? Is it nasb? Is it jar? What is it? Naam. So it says here, hukmul mustathna bi illa. What is the hukm of the mustathna, which is mustathna because of illa? What is the ruling of the exception by way of illa? So qala, let's look at what the author Ibn Ajurum rahimahullah says first. So I'm going to read this. And I might give a brief explanation as we're going along. Okay. Al-mustathna bi illa. The mustathna because of illa yunsabu idha kana al-kalamu taman mujaban. So the mustathna bi illa will be mansoob. When will it be mansoob? If the kalam is tam and mujab. Nahwu, for example, qama al-qawmu illa zaydan. Can you see zaydan? This is the mustathna and it is mansoob. Wa kharaja an-nasu illa amran. Amran is the mustathna after illa and it is mansoob. Why is in qama al-qawmu illa zayd? All the people stood except Zayd. All the people exited except Amr. Why is Zayd and Amr? Why is the mustathna here? Why is the mustathna here mansoob? Because if you look at the kalam which is before illa, you will see that the kalam before illa, it is tam mujab. So this is rule number one. Remember this all the time. If the kalam before illa is tam and it is mujab, then the mustathna that comes after illa must be mansoob, wajib, wajibun nasb. You have no choice. Cannot make a marfu, cannot make a majroor. And it doesn't matter what the i'rab of the mustathna minhu. Here, qama al-qawmu illa zaydan. What's the mustathna? Zayd. What's the mustathna minhu? Qawm. It doesn't matter what the i'rab of qawm is. Whether qawm is marfu, whether qawm is mansoob, whether the qawm is majroor, the mustathna is always going to be mansoob. Here, an-nas. This is the mustathna minhu. Again, it doesn't matter what it is, what the i'rab of the mustathna minhu is. It doesn't concern us. What concerns us is that if the speech before illa, it is tam and it is mujab, then the mustathna after illa must be mansoob. Now, what does tam and mujab mean? Tam means complete and mujab means muthbat, yani an affirmative statement, a positive statement, not a negation, not a negative statement. Nah? That's what mujab means. So mujab means yani an affirmative statement, not negative. And tam means complete. Okay, what do we mean by? So let's look at this example. قام القوم إلا زيدا. Let's analyze this. This is what's before illa, yeah? قام القوم. Now, this is mujab. Of course, this is mujab. What does mujab mean? That it's not preceded by nafi or shibhun nafi. Nafi or shibhun nafi. Yani this speech here, the speech before illa, it is not preceded by nafi, negation, and it's not preceded by something which resembles negation, such as what? Like an-nahi, prohibition, ad-du'a, al-istifham. Yeah, yani these things, an-nahi, ad-du'a, istifham, yes, they are not phrases yani that are direct negation. No. But they carry the meaning of negation. That's what shibhun nafi means. So the point here is the speech before illa. Here in this example, it is mujab, يعني مثبت. mujab يعني مثبت. In the affirmative, يعني it's not preceded by nafi and it's not preceded by shibhun nafi. There's no form of negation before it. It is an affirmative. Qama is qama al-qawm. The people stood. And it is tam. It is tam. Yani it is not naqis. You have tam and you have naqis. But this is tam. What's the difference with tam and naqis when we talk about istithna? Tam means speech where the mustathna minhu is explicitly mentioned. So here it is. Here is the mustathna minhu. It is explicitly mentioned, so it is tam. Naqis, we will come to it in a bit. That is, inshallah, that is when the mustathna minhu is not mentioned in the jumla that comes before illa. Okay. So if these two conditions are met, yani the kalam before illa is tam and mujab, then the mustathna after illa must be mansoob. And we don't care about the i'rab of the mustathna minhu, because the mustathna does not follow the i'rab of the mustathna minhu. So I can say qama al-qawmu illa zaydan. I can say ra'aytul qawma illa zaydan. I can say marartu bil qawmi illa zaydan. So can you see how zayd, it has no effect. It doesn't care about the mustathna, the i'rab of the mustathna minhu. Here it is Qawmu, here it is Qawma, here is Qawmi. That is still Zayd, Zayd, Zayd. Khair. So that is there's three things. The mustathna after illa has three rulings. We've covered the first one. The first ruling is it must be mansoob, and we know when and how. Okay, what's the next one? Second ruling. وَإِنْ كَانَ الْكَلَامُ مَنْفِيًّا تَامًّا جَازَ فِيهِ الْبَدَلُ وَنَصْبُ لِلْإِسْتِثْنَاءِ نحو ما قام القوم إلا زيد وإلا زيدا. If the kalam that is before illa, it is, look at the difference. Thaman mujaban, here is tham. Yes, it is tham. Again, tham. Yani al-mustathna minhu, it is mentioned explicitly. But it is not mujab, it is not affirmative, positive, it is manfi, negative. So, if the kalam before illa, it is tam, yani mustathna minhu is mentioned, and it is manfi, yani it has been preceded by either nafi or shibhun nafi, which can be nahi, ad-du'a, or al-istifham. Okay, if that happens, if the speech before illa is manfi tam, what happens to the mustathna? What happens to the word, the mustathna that comes after illa? You have two choices. Look what it says. Jaza fihi al-badalu wan-nasbu ala al-istithna'i. You can, two things are permissible. Al-badal is permissible. Remember badal? Badal, mubdal min, remember badal? Yes. So the, one second. Ma qawmu illa zaydun. You have two choices. First of all, I want you to analyze this speech before illa. Is it tam or naqis? It is tam, because mustathna minhu, it is mentioned. Is it mujab or is it manfi? Of course it's manfi, because it is preceded by ma harf nafi. Ma qama al-qawmu, no one stood illa Zayd, except Zayd. So now, if the speech before illa, it is tam manfi, then the mustathna, we can say it can be badal or it can be nasb. And you know badal has the same i'rab. Remember, badal is from the tawabi'. Remember na'at wa tawqid. Remember all these? Wa'at and badal. Remember, they take the same i'rab as the words before it. So here you would say that Zayd, you would say Zayd badal min al-qawm marfu'un mithluhu. You would say ما, you know ما, yeah, حرف نفي مبني السكون لا محل له من العمل قام فعل ماض القوم فاعل خلاص إلا حرف استثناء مبني السكون لا محل له من الإعراب. Done all that. زيد, we would say بدل من القوم مرفوع مثله. It is مرفوع just like القوم. It has to follow the same إعراب. وعلامة رفع ضمة ظاهرة إلى آخره. Or you can say زيدا, same as before. Yeah. So here زيدا, it is مستثنى. مستثنى منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة الداخلة على آخره. نعم. So this is the second rule, yes, that if the speech before illa it is tam manfi, then the mustathna that comes after illa can be one of two things, can be badal. So it follows the same i'rab as the mustathna minhu. So if the mustathna minhu it is marfu, then the badal will be marfu. If it is mansoob, the badal will be mansoob. Is majroor, the badal will be majroor, and so on and so forth. Or we can say zaydan. We can just say it's mustathna mansoob la nasbihi fatha ila akhirih. But which one is better in this situation? The badal is better. The badal is better, but both are allowed. That's ruling number 2. Last ruling number 3. وَإِنْ كَانَ الْكَلَامُ نَاقِصًا كَانَ عَلَى حَسَبِ الْعَوَامِلِ. But نحو ما قام إلا زيد وما ضربت إلا زيدا وما مررت إلا بزيد. Okay. Making sure everything's still working. Okay. So that's the third and the final hukm for illa. That if the kalam is naqisan, it's not tam. It is naqis. Remember what's naqis? If the mustathna minhu is not explicitly stated in the jumla, in the speech that comes before illa. There is no mustathna minhu mentioned. It's not there. It is not there. Okay, here you see, look here, we said taman mujaban, manfiyan taman. Here only one word, naqisan. Why? What's happened to the other word, mujab and manfi? Why not? Where's it gone? Why not? Because naqis can only be manfi. You can never have kalam naqis mujab. So I cannot say look at this sentence. Qama illa zaydun. Can you see? Look at the speech before illa is qama. Is the mustathna minhu mentioned? There is no mustathna minhu. So it is naqis. But can we say this? We cannot say this. Because qama here, it is mujab. Not allowed. So if it is naqis, it cannot be mujab. Naqis must always be Naqis can only be manfi. So to correct this, I would have to say ma qama illa zaydun. This ma qama, this is naqis because there is no mustathna minhu, and at the same time it is manfi because it's preceded by harfun nafi. Ma qama illa zaydun. Okay, now what happens here? What is the i'rab, dear brothers and sisters, of zaydun here? The mustathna that is after illa. What is the i'rab of that? The i'rab of that can change. It can sometimes be marfu', sometimes can be mansoob. For example, I can say la tadrib illa zaydan, or I can say no, la tadrib illa zaydan. Or ma marartu illa bi zaydin. So why is it the i'rab keeps changing of this? When it is naqis, and we said naqis can only be manfi. Okay, because he explains there, look, وَإِنْ كَانَ الْكَلَامُ نَاقِصًا كَانَ عَلَى حَسَبِ الْعَوَامِلِ. Awamil is the jam of amil. Amil is the agent that acts upon other words and makes them marfu, mansoob and majroor. So if the kalam before illa is naqis, then the i'rab of the mustathna, which is mentioned after illa, is according ala hasb al-awamil. It is according to the amil that is mentioned before illa. So here, this is why, look at qama. Qama, it is the amil. It is the fi'l. Fi'l is the one that acts upon the fa'il and makes it marfu'. So Zayd is the ma'mul. The Zayd is the amil, is the agent. Ma'mul is the word that is being acted upon. So here the i'rab of Zayd would be fa'il marfu' wa lam darfu ala akhirih, because qama is the amil and qama necessitates that this be the fa'il and the fa'il has to be marfu'. So basically, the i'rab of the mustathna after illa in this scenario, the i'rab is basically going to be according to what is necessitated by the amil that is mentioned before illa. Here the amil is a fi'l, so this is a fa'il which is marfu'. Here la tadrib, don't hit. Here we have the fi'l and the fa'il, yes? Yani tadrib, when you say tadrib, yani la tadrib anta, as you know, yes? So tadrib is the fi'l. The fa'il is already there. Yani the fa'il is damirun mustatirun wujuban taqdiruhu anta. يعني لا تضرب أنت. Now the fi'l and the fa'il is there. What's left? The maf'ul. So زيدا لا تضرب إلا زيدا. What's the i'rab of زيدا here? We don't say mustathnan. In the first example, we say fa'il. Second example, we say maf'ulun bihi. Mansub walamd nasbi fada dakhil akhirih. The next example. ما مررت إلا بزيد. Again, مررت. We have the fi'l and the fa'il. But as you know, marra is fi'l lazim. So it needs a harf al-jar. So here's the harf al-jar. بزيد. That's what it necessitates. Marartu necessitates that it uses the ba to get to the object. It's done it. So when we say the i'rab of Zaydin, we say al-jar wal-majrur muta'alliqun bi marrah. This is a marrah here. A fi'l marrah. الباء حرف جر مبني على الكسر لا محل من الإعراب. زيد اسم مجرور بالباء وعلامة الكسر وعلامة زيد اسم مجرور بالباء وعلامة جره كسر ظاهر آخر الجار مجرور متعلق بمرة. Okay, so ما قام إلا زيد. ما حرف نفي مبني على السكون لا محل من الإعراب ولا عمل. قام فعل ماض مبني على الفتح. إلا حرف نفي حرف استثناء مبني على السكون لا محل له من الإعراب ولا عمل. زيد فاعل مرفوع وعلامة رفعه إلى آخره. So also if I give you another example, I'll say for example ما ضربته إلا زيدا. You see this kalam, it is naqis. Why is it naqis? There's no mustathna minhu, and at the same time whenever it's naqis it must be manfi, and it is manfi. I did not hit illa zaydan except Zayd, and of course Zayd here it is the maf'ulun bihi for darabtu, for darabtu. So basically now that I have explained all that, I'm going to read through the text very quickly. Okay. Because whatever I've just explained to you, all mentioned in the text. So we're going to go through it quick, so please follow attentively. وأقول, so the Sharih rahimahullah, he says اعلم أن للاسم الواقع بعد إلا ثلاثة أحوال. Know that the ism which comes after illa has three states. Al-halatul ula, the first state, wujubun nasbi al-istithna'i, wujubun nasb, that it must be mansub. Al-halatul thani, the second condition, jawazu itba'ihi lima qabla illa ala annahu badalun minhu ma'a jawazi nasbihi al-istithna'i, that basically the word that comes, the ism that comes after illa, is permissible for it to follow that which comes before illa. Yani saying that it is the badal from it. Ala annahu badalun minhu. It is badal. It is the badal from that which came before illa. Ma jawazi nasb al-istithna, although it's permissible to make it mansoob, like say it's mustathna, mansoob. Al-halatu thalitha, third state, wujub ijra'i ala hasabi ma yaqtadihi al-amilu al-madhkuru qabla illa. That is obligatory to treat it, yani the word, the ism that comes after illa, is obligatory to treat it according to what the amil which is mentioned before illa, according to what that amil yaqtadi, what that amil necessitates. If that amil that comes before illa necessitates that it'll be marfu, it's going to be marfu. If the amil before illa necessitates that the word after illa is going to be mansoob, it's going to be mansoob. If the amil which is before illa necessitates that the word after illa is going to be majroor, it's going to be majroor. Yeah, that's in summary what we have been talking about. Now he's going to explain it. وَبَيَانُ ذَلِكَ, and to explain that, أَنَّ الْكَلَامَ الَّذِي قَبْلَ إِلَّا إِمَّا أَنْ يَكُونَ تَامًا مُوجَبًا. And to explain that, what we're saying is that the kalam that comes before illa can either be tam mujab, wa imma an yakuna tam manfiyan, or the kalam before illa can be tam manfi, wa imma an yakuna naqisan, or the kalam before illa can be naqis, wa la yakunu hina idhan illa manfiyan. And if that is the case, that the kalam before illa is naqis, then it cannot be accept manfi. Now he's going to explain what all this means. Tam, mujab, tam, manfi, naqis. Oh, we've done that, yes. وَمَعْنَى كَوْنِ الْكَلَامِ السَّابِقِ تَامًا. And when we say that the speech that comes before is tam, what does that mean? أَنْ يُذْكَرَ فِيهِ الْمُسْتَثْنَى مِنْهُ, that in that speech the mustathna minhu is mentioned. وَمَعْنَى كَوْنِهِ نَاقِسًا, when we say that it is naqis, what does that mean? أَلَّا يُذْكَرَ فِيهِ الْمُسْتَثْنَى مِنْهُ, that al-mustathna minhu is not mentioned in the speech. وَمَعْنَى كَوْنِهِ مُوجَبًا, and when we say it's mujab, the kalam is mujab, what do we mean? أَلَّا يَسْبِكَهُ نَفْيٌ أَوْ شِبْهُهُ, that is not preceded, that this speech is not preceded by nafi or shibhu, or something that resembles nafi. What is shibhu nafi? What is shibhu nafi? An-nahy wal istifham. Wa ma'na kawni manfi. What does it mean when speech is manfi? An yasbikahu ahadu hadil ashya, that is preceded by one of these things, either nafi or shibhu nafi. All this we've explained. واضح كوضوح الشمس. Now he's going to talk about the three rules. فإن كان الكلام سابق تاما موجبا وجب نصب الاسم الواقع بعد إلا الاستثناء. If the speech that comes before is tam and is mujab, wajib nasb al-ism al-waqi ba'da illa, then the ism that comes after illa must be wajib, it must be nasb al-istithna. It's mustathna mansoob. Nahwu qawlika, for example, when you say qama al-qawmu illa zaydan, wa qawluka, nahwu qawlika, qama wa qawlika, kharaja an-nasu illa amran. What it says here, فَزَيْدًا وَعَمْرًا, so these two words, زَيْدًا عَمْرًا, مُسْتَثْنَيَانِ مِنْ كَلَامٍ تَامٍ, they are mustathna. Zayd and Amr are mustathna, are excluded from kalam which is tam. Why is, what do you mean by tam? لِذِكْرِ الْمُسْتَثْنَى مِنْهُ. So Zayd and Amr are mustathna from kalam which is tam. What do we mean by kalam which is tam? Why is it tam? لِذِكْرِ الْمُسْتَثْنَى, because the mustathna minhu is mentioned. What is the mustathna minhu? وهو القوم في الأول, and mustathna minhu in the first example is قوم. والناس في الثاني, and in the second example the mustathna minhu is الناس. والكلام مع ذلك موجب, and in addition to that, this kalam is also mujab. Why is it mujab? Why is it in the affirmative? لعدم تقدم نفي أو شبهه, because it's not preceded by nafi or shibh nafi. فوجب نصبهما, so these two must be mansub, يعني زيد and Amr must be mansub. وهذه هي الحالة الأولى. This is the first state. وإن كان الكلام سابقا منفيا جاز في الاتباع ولا البدلية أو النصب والاستثناء. If the kalam which comes before it is tam and manfi, then you have two choices. جاز في الاتباع ولا البدلية. You can make it follow the word that comes before it because it is badaliya, because it is badal from that. So you can جاز في الاتباع, it can follow the word that comes after illa. It can follow the i'rab of the word that comes before illa al-badaliyya, because it is badal from the word that comes before it, and badal must have the same i'rab as the mubdal min. So jaza fil itba al-badaliyya, so itba al-badaliyya is permissible. Aw an-nasb al-istithna'i, or you also nasb al-istithna, you can say, or you can say mustathnan mansub. Both are permissible. نحو قولك, for example, ما قام القوم إلا زيد. ما قام القوم إلا زيد, فزيد مستثنى من كلام تام. So Zaid is mustathnan, is excluded from kalam which is tam. Look here. Why is it tam? Zaid is excluded from kalam which is tam. Zaid is excluded from kalam which is tam. لذكر مستثنى منه, because the mustathna minhu is mentioned. وهو القوم, and that is the word قوم. والكلام مع ذلك منفي, and kalam in addition, this kalam in addition to that, ما قام القوم is also manfi, negative. لقدم من نافية, because preceded by من نافية. فيجوز في الاتباع, so it's permissible to do itba' where Zaid, it follows the i'rab of the mustathna minhu. فتقول, so you can say إلا زيد بالرفع, you can say إلا زيد بالرفع. Why? لأن المستثنى منه مرفوع, because مستثنى منه is مرفوع. القوم وبدل مرفوع مرفوع, and the badal of مرفوع must also be مرفوع. That's the first. ويجوز فيه على قلة, also it is permissible, but على قلة, يعني occasionally, sometimes. Yes, this is not the common practice. The common practice, what did I say to you? What's better and what's common practice? That here you make it badal. But ala qilla, but sometimes what's also permissible, an-nasbu al-istithna'i, you can say fataqulu illa zaydan, you can say illa zaydan. So zaydan is mustathnan mansubun ala al-istithna'i, that's the i'rab. Yes, zaydan, you say zaydan mustathnan mansubun ala al-istithna'i, is mansub because of the istithna. وهذه هي حالة الثانية, this is the second state, and the last one. وإن كان الكلام سابق ناقصا ولا يكون إلا منفيا. If the kalam sabiq, the kalam that comes before illa, it is naqis ولا يكون منفيا, and this can only be manfi, negative. كان المستثنى على حسب ما قبل إلا من العوامل, then the mustathna that comes after illa is going to be according to the amil, to the awamil that comes before illa. فإن كان العامل يقتضي رفع للفاعلية رفعته عليها. So if the amil which comes before illa, it necessitates a raf, because it is because the word is a fa'il, رفعته عليها, then you will make this word marfu because of the عليها, because of the fa'iliyya, because it's a fa'il. نحو ما حضر إلا علي. حضر فعل, this is the amil, علي is the fa'il, so you made it marfu'. وإن كان العامل يقتضي النصب على المفعولية نصبته عليها نحو ما رأيت إلا عليا. But if the عامل which is before إلا it necessitates نصب على المفعولية because that word after إلا is the مفعول نصبته عليها, then you will نصبته, then you make it, yani the word after إلا منصوب عليها, yani due to the مفعولية. نحو ما رأيت إلا عليا, I did not see except Ali. The عامل is رأيت. Here we have the فعل and the فاعل. So what is left is the مفعول, and Ali is the مفعول of رأيت. وإن كان العامل okay. وإن كان العامل يقتضي الجر بحرف من حروف الجر جررته به. But if the عامل before إلا necessitates jar by way of one of the حروف الجر جررته به, then you will make this word that after إلا مجرور به with this حرف الجر. نحو ما مررت إلا بزيد. So here the عامل is مررت or مرة, and the فعل مرة, what does it necessitate? It necessitates that the word after it be مجرور by way of a حرف الجر. So what do? You take that word after إلا and you make it مجرور with that حرف الجر. وهذه هي حالة الثالثة. We'll stop here inshallah for today. Any questions about today's lesson? Okay, if there's no questions, then we can stop here. But just a reminder, tomorrow, inshallah, we have another lesson at the same time, inshallah, 9:30 UK time. Sorry, 9:30 p.m. Saudi time or 7:30 p.m. UK time. We'll have another 1 hour lesson tomorrow, inshallah, and we're going to have a third lesson on Thursday, inshallah. So while I've got the opportunity now for the next 1 or 2 weeks, I want to finish the book before some other things pop up, and then we're going to be stuck again. Okay, so my first term back at work is not looking very stable, alhamdulillah, so therefore there's going to be ons and offs. So now that I know for the next 2 weeks I have some time, my aim is to finish the book. So this is my aim, inshallah. Tomorrow and Thursday, and then next week, Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then that should be it, inshallah. We need 5 more lessons and we finish the book. Okay, it's better to do it this way. Otherwise, what's going to happen is we might end up finishing it till next summer. Yes. So inshallah, tomorrow I'll see you again. All right. This is, we need 5 more lessons. I've divided up the book now. 5 more lessons, inshallah. tomorrow Thursday, and the next week 3 lessons. No. So my aim now, there'll be no Umdatul Ahkam at the moment. My aim is to finish this first, and then I will restart. After I finish this book, then I will inshallah go to Kitab al-Tawheed and back to Umdatul Ahkam. Okay, so let's get this out of the way, because we're right near the end, so it makes no sense to keep delaying this now. Okay, barakallah. Okay, guys, brothers and sisters, take care. See you tomorrow, inshallah. Wallahu ta'ala a'la wa a'lam wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.